What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. As you can see, I don't have the same energy as I did in the past video. Before I go into this video, I want to personally thank everybody who responded to and watched my previous video. I appreciate everything that you have done in support of me and my starting my new channel. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you that showed their support via subscription, comment, liking. I appreciate everything that you've done from the bottom of my heart. Before I get into the video, I'm probably not going to say it at the end, so I might as well just say it in the beginning. Please, if you can, please give this video a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel. Please hit the bell to be notified when I'm posting new content and new videos. I pray that the videos that I have coming up will be more jubilant, more family friendly, family fun, and just all around joyous and happy. But I'm just gonna be real for the time being. I'm mad. Any black man, black woman, even black children who have comprehension of what's been going down these past few days, not even weeks, is shocking, and it's hurtful, and it's bothersome, and it evokes so much emotion, so much so that black people can't even channel it. They can't comprehend it. They can't figure it out. Some people don't even want to, and I don't even blame them, because what's going on in our world is being hidden, and people are trying to make excuses for it, make it seem that we shouldn't just say things like Black Lives Matter and why doesn't all lives matter. By the way, how long are we going to talk about that? Because it's quite clear that that's untrue, given the situations that have been occurring. So for those who haven't been kept up on the current climate, a lot has happened in the past few days. For those who are not kept up and are not aware of why so much is happening in today's climate, is because we have once again watched not one, but two recent cases of severe police brutality. First, I'm going to speak on one that hasn't really had a certain amount of light shown, and I believe that she should be recognized. A girl by the name of Breonna Taylor was shot 8 times in her own home by a police officer. And sadly, a lot of light that should have been shown on her was shown late, but I'm going to say better late than never. However, I'm also going to say we matter too. Black women are suffering from police brutality just as well, and we need to have better recognition of that. So not only her, but a 46-year-old man by the name of George Floyd was assassinated by police officers, and one of them, Officer Chauvin, had his knee on this man's neck for a total count of 8 minutes and 46 seconds. It has been reported that all 4 officers are now into custody. At first, Chauvin was only being charged for third-degree murder, which makes it seem that this was out of his control, that this wasn't planned, and third-degree murder gives you a lower sentence than second and first degree do. During that time where he received that charge, only he was Only he was charged. Only him, not the other 3 officers that were involved during this incident. However, by current update, Chauvin is now being charged for 2nd-degree murder. I'm so grateful, whoever did, from whoever state, whichever state's district attorney decided to review the autopsy, and it does indicate that this was a murder. Thanks be to God, we're making strides, and I thank God for that, for the incoming district attorney who reviewed and saw that this was definitely a murder, as well as incorporating all officers who were involved in this. And they are now in custody. So we are making strides. We really are putting our voices together. We're donating. We are coming together as a body to recognize and raise awareness as to what's going on in this country. I'm sorry right now if I'm rattling. When it comes to certain topics, I find it hard to speak. I find it hard to speak because at some point, a Black person would think that we're getting somewhere. We all know that we have a long way to go, given how this country was built. It was always against us. We have managed to advance and have the opportunities that we have today. We are able to work on our own, live on our own. We don't have to work as slaves. We can work for ourselves, fend for ourselves. But it's such a harsh reality to realize how far we've come, but yet not so much. It's amazing how things are going full circle and beginning once again this cycle of systematic racism. I'm so ashamed and I'm so hurt by watching these videos because it shows literally there's proof that there's so much more to be done in our system and in our nation and in our cities and in our communities. It's very clear that there had to be some breach in the training system when it comes to bringing and upbringing and bringing forth policemen and bringing forth people to protect and serve their communities. There should never be an instant where somebody in uniform finds it necessary to hold their body against another person. Not even another person, but their neck. You're not even giving them a choice to live by doing that. And to see that footage, to see the footage of it broke my heart. It almost made me sick watching it because people thought this made sense, that this man deserved something such as this. And for them to have the audacity to include that, given his health issues, given what he had before this, is the reason that this man is no longer here, no longer with his family, no longer with his child. I don't even have words for it. So I want to apologize if I sound a little bit different because I'm trying to fight back emotions, anger. I'm trying to fight back a level of confusion because this has no longer become just a civic issue. It hasn't even become just a civic issue, a political issue. This is once again becoming an issue of humanity. One white man found it necessary to cut off a Black man's life. And the way he did it, he felt that was humane. Some people still think that he deserved this treatment. People still think that, oh, this isn't a murder. He was sick. He tested positive for coronavirus. That's why he's gone. But it's clear by the footage, people will allow themselves to think of something different just to protect a police officer, an unfit police officer, an unworthy police officer, a police officer with a track record, a police officer that has multiple cases of police brutality, multiple cases of injustice to civilians. So if he still thinks that this is okay back then, what else do you think? How else do you think he's gonna feel? It hurts that it took something like this for us to come together, but I'm grateful that we are coming together. People that aren't Black, Spanish, Latina, even though they're people of color as well. That's another thing. A lot of people will rope in Blacks and Latinas together. Yes, we are all people of color, but this is a black issue. I'm not saying that they don't have their own battle. They don't have their own battle to fight, because I believe that there is a lot of injustice even with the Latina community that we all need to represent and support them, and to show our love and our support as we reform things according to their opportunities and according to what they need as a people. But this is for us Black people. Black people are fighting back tears. It's clear that a lot of emotion is over erupting. So many states are experiencing riots and looting and things of that nature. I will say this. I am not in support of another person destroying a community, especially their own community. However, I do understand why a lot of people are making it their decision to do so. People are very angry. A lot of people do not have a clear channel of expression, and their only expression when things like this happen is a very high level of anger, and it's allowing them to do so many things that we can only imagine. Given our history, riots came into play for our culture, I believe, to get the attention of leaders, to get the attention of political leaders and civic leaders, because obviously peaceful wasn't working. However, I'm grateful that now things are starting to calm down, become more peaceful. Each and every state in this country has formed a protest, at least one. So that's something that I'm grateful for. However, it's amazing that it took something so violent to bring the attention of political leaders. People were doing it out of that sense of, well, you're not hearing me, so let me destroy something that would mean something to you as you did to us. However, that then repeats a cycle. If it continues, nothing gets done. More things will have to be done to then not only reform, but to rebuild, to reestablish laws, to edit laws, to enforce new laws. But then we're going to have to rebuild the very communities we've destroyed. I really feel that a good amount of white people really don't want us here. And so there is a definite need of protest. There's a definite need of forum. There's a definite need of conversation, of sane conversation, which might take time because us as a people A lot of us are not in that headspace. And we are going to have to respect the fact that not everybody's okay. And not everybody is going to regroup in the same way. Not everybody is going to heal the same way. However, after the dust settles, literally, we are going to have these conversations. And I really feel that where we need to start as a people is to really educate ourselves in our civic law. I, for one, did not find a lot of it interesting at a certain age. However, when I became an activist in college, I slowly began to really get some level of interest, because even though it's not the most fun topic, it's something that we need to know, because when we know certain things, we are able to fight and fight well. And then we can have not only temporary victories, but we can have permanent victories. We have voices that allow laws to be changed, laws to be pursued, and we have people that will bridge the gap into how our voices are heard and have them be channeled to those who are higher up, so that we can see a difference in our communities. We can see a difference in our world. As much as we want to only focus on the presidential election, which is very important given the fact that not mine, the president of the United States has decided to wreak havoc on the entire nation by deciding to, one, take a photograph that basically displays, we're gonna fend for ourselves. Two, have militant people in your photo saying that we will shoot innocent people. Not everybody is looting. You're gonna just make it your business to bring forth troops to each and every state and have them come shooting? Is that what the United States stands for? Is that what we do now? Are these the new tactics? To then have the same man on Twitter calling people out of their name, telling people that he's going to continue what he's doing, allowing so much to occur, allowing so much to go over his head, and to have him only focus on the fact that people are looting. So the protests mean nothing to you. All you care about is law and order. Okay, so since you care about law and order, we as a people have to be more cognizant of our civic and political laws. So when we are ready to make those changes on paper, we'll be ready for it. Let's beat him at his own game. Obviously, we need to also be more cognizant of our local leaders. I had to really reflect and tell myself that, you know what, Bree, as much as it is so much that I don't know, I'm going to make it my duty to learn more about it. I decided to open up my laptop, create a document, look up the roles, the political officials in my borough, and try to make note and make a memory in my head as to who is for me, who is fighting for me, who wants the best for my borough, who wants the best for my community. I have now become more aware of what's happening around me. Once we as a people become more aware and make it in our minds to want to know more, then we can fight well. We'll be able to fight this correctly. We won't have to loot to get their attention. We won't have to destroy communities to get their attention. I understand why you did it, but that's a temporary thing. It's an emotional thing, and it might not get us anywhere. It might not get us anywhere further. If it got us somewhere, we're not going to go further than that. So the best way to go further and the best way to advance is to educate ourselves. I'm convinced I'm convinced that it's systematic, that the majority that don't know much about civic law are people of color. We're not taught it. I feel that it's not we don't make it a necessity. We need to know these things, and I'm making it my business to know these things. There are plenty of things that we can be doing to make a difference. There are so many different places where you can donate. There's so many places where you can make your voice known, petitions. There's a lot of open forums being had. There's a lot of conversations being had. Having the information circle and keeping it alive so that we can speak to people who know how to deliver the message for the people in the right way. We also need to elect the right people to help channel and be the bridge that we can depend on to shift that information to the right people so that things can change, so things can be reformed, so things can be abolished, some things can be eliminated. And because of that, we have to register to vote. I didn't take it seriously at one point. If anything is a wake-up call for us to register to vote, it is now. I had to lay down my pride and to admit that I did not know a lot of what's going on when it comes to when it comes to policies, when it comes to laws, when it comes to certain rights that I have. And all of us as a people need to learn those things, because being Black is not an easy thing in this world, but it can become a little bit easier once we educate ourselves. So when it's time to make these decisions, we know what we're in for. We know how to organize, and we know how to act, to positively and peacefully act so things can permanently change. I am tired of temporary changes in my society. I'm sick of it. I want permanent changes. I want to be taught when it comes to my policies, when it comes to my finances. There are so many Black people in this world. Why do we not own anything? That is another thing that we need to discuss. We need to know these things. We need to know how we go about these things so we do not just act all over again like slaves. Everybody owns something but us. Everybody's got something but us. It is now time for those people who have dreams and have goals and have ambitions of taking and owning and launching. This is the time to do it. When it comes to Black-owned businesses, Black-owned institutions, Black-owned organizations, there are so many opportunities. There's so many options that we have to make sure that our people, that we're good. It's about covering our brothers and our sisters. And if this disgusting incident of racial injustice, of human injustice, if that's what it takes to get ourselves together as a people, then let's strike when the iron's hot. Let's make connections. Let's shake the right hands so we can make a difference in our communities, in our cities, in our states, and in our nation. There's so many other political officials that have an interest in us that we can appoint and we can speak to and have our voices heard so that there is a permanent change in our world. I don't want to see another person die due to the unprofessionalism, the total lack of humanity. I don't even know what to say at this point. I just know that us Black people, we need to stay here. Regardless of how many people are trying to take us out. The system, the person, the law, they're trying to kill us and give an excuse for it. But we do not have to take that on. There are ways for us to see permanent changes in our community. For me, that's the goal. I don't want here today, going tomorrow. I, a black woman, a beautiful black woman, a proud black woman, an educated black woman, a Christian black woman, an empowered black woman, a strong black woman. I'm ready for a permanent change. Period.